Spain's history is a narrative of foreign rule, empire, and internal conflict, beginning with pre-Roman civilizations like the Iberians and Celts, followed by Phoenician, Carthaginian, and Roman influence, which introduced Hispania and Roman culture. After Roman decline, Germanic tribes, particularly the Visigoths, established rule, only to be replaced by the Islamic invasion and the subsequent Reconquista, or Christian reconquest, which concluded with the formation of modern Spain. Through the union of Castile and Aragon, Spain became a global superpower with the Age of Discovery, building a vast empire in the Americas, but eventually experienced decline, civil war, and the modern era of democracy and European integration. Pre-Roman and Roman eras. Early inhabitants. The Iberian Peninsula was home to pre-Roman peoples like the Iberians and Celts, who developed distinct cultures and engaged in trade with Mediterranean seafaring. Civilizations like the Phoenicians. Roman Empire. The Romans conquered the region, naming it Hispania and leaving a lasting legacy of law, language, and religion. Visigothic Kingdom. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire, Germanic tribes, particularly the Visigoths, took control of Hispania, with their kingdom eventually collapsing in the early 8th century. Islamic rule and the Reconquista. Islamic invasion. In 711, a Berber army conquered much of the peninsula, establishing the Islamic State of Al-Andalus. The Reconquista. From the north, Christian kingdoms launched a centuries-long struggle to reclaim the peninsula, culminating in 1492 with the fall of the last Muslim stronghold, the Nasrid Kingdom of Granada. The rise of modern Spain and empire. Unification. The marriage of Ferdinand II of Aragon and Isabella I of Castile in 1469 led to the dynastic union of their kingdoms, forming the foundation of modern Spain. The Age of Discovery. Sponsoring Christopher Columbus's voyages to the Americas, Spain became the world's first superpower, building a vast empire that spanned 4 continents. Religious and political changes. The Spanish Inquisition, expulsions of Jews and Muslims, and focus on religious hegemony marked this era. Decline, wars, and modernity. Decline and Habsburg rule. Spain faced inflation and constant warfare under the Habsburg dynasty, eventually losing its dominance to other European powers. Bourbon dynasty and instability. The House of Bourbon took over in the early 18th century, but Spain experienced a period of revolution and upheaval, including Napoleon's invasion, loss of empire and civil war. The Spanish-American War in 1898 resulted in the loss of the last of its empire. The 20th century brought in devastating civil war and the subsequent dictatorship of Francisco Franco. Modern Spain. Franco's death in 1975 led to the Reconquista, allowed Catholic monarchs to divert their attention to exploration. In 1492, Pope Alexander VI, Rodrigo Borja of Valencia, formally approved the division of the unexplored world between kingdoms of what is today Spain and Portugal. New discoveries and conquests came in quick succession. In 1493, when Christopher Columbus brought 1,500 colonists with him on his second voyage, a royal administrator had already been appointed for what the Catholic kingdoms referred to as the Indies. The Council of the Indies, Consejo de Indias, established in 1524, acted as an advisory board on colonial affairs. And the House of Trade, Casa de Contratación, regulated trade with the colonies. Gold and silver from the New World. Edit. Main articles, Spanish Empire and Iberian Union. See also, School of Salamanca and Global. Silver trade from the 16th to 19th centuries. The Port of Seville in the 1500s. Originally, all trade with the colonies in the Americas was required to go through this port. Following the discovery of America and the colonial expansion in the Caribbean and continental America, valuable agricultural products and mineral resources were introduced into Spain through regular trade routes. New products such as potatoes, tomatoes, and corn had a long-lasting impact on the Spanish economy. But more importantly, the European values. Gold and silver dominated. American mines were used by the Spanish. Trade the fruit from the Netherlands. To maintain the mental forces of Germany in the 15th century, and to satisfy increasing consumer demand. However, the large volume of precious metals from America led to inflation, which had a negative effect on the foreign economy. Still speaking of the price, despite the fact that the Spanish economy in this period had obtained cheap inputs from the colonization process which provided different advantages, it had not led to sustainable economic growth. At the first steps, flows of capital and investment, unions between nobles and successful merchants provide a development of Spanish cities. However, due to current laws of the 16th century, the crown had a right for 20% of capital and colonization process. South the class building the offset. At the final trade itself forward, mostly indirectly by the Prussian state.